Some nights don't just test your strength, they push you to the edge, to a place so dark that you start questioning whether life is even worth fighting for. It was 3007 a.m. The city slept in silence. Streetlights flickered faintly, and Daniel stood on the edge of a bridge. The cold wind bit his face. The river below looked black, endless, silent. He gripped the railing tightly. His hands were shaking, not because of the cold, but because of everything that had led him here. 6 months ago, Daniel had dreams. He had left his stable job with hope in his heart. He believed in himself. He believed he could create something big, something meaningful, something that mattered. Every morning, he woke up before dawn, coffee in hand, laptop open, emails, clops, endless to-do lists. The world felt heavy on his shoulders, and yet he persisted. He poured every ounce of energy into his startup. Sleepless nights, countless rejections, arguments with investors, missed dinners with his family, friendships slowly slipping away. His younger sister, Clara, would sometimes knock on his door. "Daniel, take a break," she'd say softly. He'd smile faintly, shaking his head. "Not yet, I'm almost there." But the nights grew longer, the failures heavier, the debt notices more urgent. Every conversation became a judgment. "You should have stayed at your job. We told you it wouldn't work. You think too big for your own good." Slowly, those voices became his own. "You're a failure. You ruin everything. You're a Dan. You're a burden." Daniel tried to hide it, at work, at home. Even his mother noticed the change. Her gentle gaze met his, and she asked softly, "Are you okay, son?" He would nod, forcing a smile. "Yes, everything's fine." But inside, a storm was building. A storm of self-doubt, fear, and loneliness. Then came the final blow. Another legal notice. Another call from a debt collector. Another sleepless night spent staring at the ceiling, counting mistakes, counting losses, wondering where it all went wrong. That night, he didn't call anyone. He didn't text. He didn't even eat. He just walked, without a destination in mind, until he found himself on the bridge. The cold metal railing pressed against his palms. The wind tugged at his coat. The river below, dark, silent, infinite. It called to him in a way nothing else had. One step, that's all it would take. One step, and all the noise, the pressure, the expectations would vanish. He closed his eyes and whispered, "I'm sorry," not to the world, but to himself. Just as he loosened his grip, his phone vibrated in his pocket. He ignored it. It vibrated again and again, annoyed. He pulled it out. It was a call from Clara. He almost declined, but something made him answer. Her voice trembled. "Daniel, where are you?" He stayed silent. She continued, "Mom is in the hospital. She collapsed. They're saying stress, blood pressure. I don't know. They're asking for you." The world stopped. The bridge, the river, the darkness. Everything faded. Only one thought remained. "Mom is asking for me." He ran. He didn't remember driving. He didn't remember the streets passing. He only remembered pushing through the hospital doors. He reached his mother's room. She lay there, fragile, pale, her eyes searching for him. And when she saw him, tears welled up. She whispered softly, "Daniel, why do you look so lost?" He fell to his knees beside her. "I failed, Mom. I failed everything." She held his hands, firm yet gentle. "No, son, you didn't fail. You just haven't finished yet. Your worth isn't measured by money or success. It's measured by your heart, your courage, your presence." Her words struck him harder than any insult. He realized how close he had come to leaving a world that still needed him. He remembered Clara's voice, trembling on the phone, remembered her words, and for the first time in months, he allowed himself to breathe. Minutes turned into an hour, and slowly, Daniel's tears mixed with relief. He realized something crucial. Pain is temporary, but decisions are permanent. That hospital room became the turning point, not because his problems vanished. Debt still existed. The failed business still haunted him, but his perspective shifted. He stayed beside his mother until sunrise, watching the light creep through the window, feeling a sense of purpose he had lost months ago. In the weeks that followed, Daniel took small steps, a temporary job, then another. Every day, a lesson in perseverance. Friends began to notice the change. His family felt his renewed strength. He learned to separate self-worth from failures, to see opportunities instead of obstacles. The debt calls didn't stop. The sleepless nights didn't vanish immediately. But Daniel discovered something more powerful than fear. He discovered resilience. He spent nights reflecting, writing his thoughts, planning his next moves. Every failure now felt like a stepping stone, not a dead end. Months passed. Daniel began rebuilding his business ideas. Smaller projects first, then gradually, something bigger. He stayed mindful of his limits, balanced work and family, and most importantly, he never forgot the bridge. 1 year later, he returned to the same bridge, not at the edge, but standing confidently. He looked at the river, once a symbol of despair, now a reflection of hope, growth, and resilience. Daniel smiled, realizing the night he almost ended everything had actually saved his life, had forced him to confront what mattered most. Sometimes, the darkest night is not sent to destroy you, it's sent to wake you up, to remind you of your strength, your purpose, your heart. And Daniel knew he would never take life's second chances for granted again. He had faced the abyss and returned stronger. He whispered to himself, "I will fight, not because life is easy, but because quitting is never an option." The river flowed endlessly, and for the first time, Daniel felt peace, a quiet, profound gratitude for life, for love, for resilience.